If you're going through a hard time now and you're single, why are you letting them speak to you like that? Like, do you think that's okay? And they're like, it's a very dangerous game because that person becomes your rock. Who's gonna be there? Have they like this person's Instagram? That's not okay. I feel like you've lost everything. Puts yourself in a very vulnerable position. You can't spend your life just feeling held down by a person. When things are left unsaid, it just... Hello and welcome. My battery's on 20%! Welcome back to my channel. Every time I do an intro, I just cringe at myself. I need like an opening line. We'll just stick with hello. Hello everybody! Today, my friends, I have a very interesting video. How you know your relation... Wait, what? I've forgotten my title. How you know your relationship needs to end. Now, I watched a video similar to this when I was going through something and this helped me so much. So I wanted to kind of, I've said so 100 times, I'm going to be helping with kind of how to get over a breakup, how you know something just isn't right, and kind of how to move past. When you're in a toxic relationship, you literally do not know. You're very blinded, and I feel like this will either open your eyes or maybe your eyes are already open and you just need someone to kind of reassure you. This video is going to help, I promise. And if you're watching and you haven't been in a relationship or anything like that, I'm going to be covering everything. So do not click off yet, because I promise you'll be able to relate to at least something in this video. A lot of people are probably wondering why I'm talking about this, but let's just say I've learned a hell of a lot from being in two very different relationships. I'd say it took a lot of realization to figure out kind of why it needed to end. I'm going to be talking a lot about singleness in a relationship. You're probably like, what? But it will make sense, I promise. If you're going through a hard time now and you're single and you're thinking being in a relationship is gonna fix all my problems, ignore my dog that's barking. I need to have the window open, but you can just hear her barking at every little thing that moves, so let's ignore that. But yeah, being in a relationship when you're not ready is not going to help either of you. Amber, shut up! She's so annoying. Dad! So yeah, if you're what? If you're single and you're struggling and you think a relationship's gonna fix all your problems, I promise you it's not. It's just gonna expose your hurt and just create a very toxic relationship. You know, that could be through insecurity, self-doubt, self-worth, self-esteem, lack of trust, motivation. It could be anything, but it's going to expose those things if you aren't ready or in the right mindset. But what I'm trying to say is my singleness in my relationship was how I knew I was in the wrong relationship, if that makes sense. When you're in a toxic relationship, you rely a hell of a lot on that one person, and it's a very dangerous game because that person becomes your rock, and then when something happens, it could be like the smallest thing that happens, or perhaps the biggest, you break up, say, you feel lost, like you feel like you've lost everything, when in reality you really haven't. It's just you've put all your effort and your love into that one person and not enough into yourself. I do believe that you have to love yourself before loving anyone else, and as cringy as that is, like, it is true. And yeah, if you don't feel complete outside of your oh my gosh, can you hear that helicopter? It's literally flying above the hat. Right, anyway, I didn't want everyone to think that, like, I think my advice is the best advice ever. Like, that's not what I'm trying to get across. I'm just trying to help people because I know how I felt in that mindset. Do you know what I mean? A lot of single people think that they need to be in a relationship because it's going to make them feel less alone. I think the reality is it's really not the case. I was in a long-term relationship for nearly 2 years and I felt more alone than ever. I'm not trying to say that the other person was a bad person, not at all. It's just kind of my singleness. You know, I wasn't complete. When you don't feel love in yourself, it really does create a toxic relationship. I see a lot of people on my Snapchat being like, oh, single, like, lonely and stuff like that. And yeah, you might feel lonely, but I promise you now, you just need patience. You need to spend more time on yourself and let the right relationship find you, because honestly, it will happen, but it's going to happen when you least expect it, and it's going to come when you're ready. You know, timing is a beautiful thing and it will work in your favour, I promise. You just got to be ready and you've got to focus on yourself until that time comes. Do you know what I mean? If you are in a relationship and you're relying on them for your happiness, you're in the mindset that that person is your happiness, I think that's again very dangerous. And I think in a toxic relationship, or say if you're going for a breakup, that feeling that they're your happiness has been normalised because you're so used to it, like that's all you know. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I keep saying do you know what I mean, but do you know what I mean? Like you're blinded, or you have been blinded, you literally can't see it, like you don't know until you're out of it. So say if you've just come out of a relationship right now, I'm sure a few of you that's watching must have, because I know 2 people that watch my videos and you've just come out of a relationship, you're gonna feel like they've taken away your happiness. That is not the case, I promise you. I think what helped me, or what is my best advice for somebody that's going through that, is to think about what your life was like before that person. You were fine, you survived, whether you were happier or whether you were going through a tough time, you know, you were fine, you got through it. My camera's about to overheat, brilliant. You know, I feel like, we're back, I feel like you have to find your strength to kind of understand that, you know, that relationship was not okay, and you've got to be strong enough to let go in order to find what is actually right for you. And it might seem like the worst thing in the world, like I know, if you've just got out of a toxic relationship and you are literally heartbroken right now, you've got to trust timing. It's not going to be like that forever. Instead of thinking about what you've lost from that person, think about what you've gained. Do you know what I mean? Like just turn it around into a positive. Like you've gained, one, you've had happy times, even if there was a lot of down times, you know, you have had happy times to be in a relationship with that person, and also you've gained a lesson. Now that is the most important thing that you need to take from it. You know, you've gained a fat lesson, whether that's bad or good. Even if it feels like the worst thing in the world, you've learnt from it and you're gonna grow from it. What else? I feel like a lot of people feel I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, a lot of people think, you know, was it the right decision, or has the right decision been has the right decision been made? And you can't dwell on that because you're going to wind yourself up so much. If the decision's been made and it's final, you need to stick to it, because the back and forth is what can get even more hurtful. You need to know that you are going to find it again, and you might be thinking, oh no, I can't see myself with any other person, but that's because you're not over it. Like you have to get over it first, and then once you're over it, you've got to better yourself before anything comes to you, because what's right for you will stay with you in the end. I don't think you should force anything. I think a lot of things happen for a reason, and you need to understand that, and you need to know that, oh, honestly, you will move past it in the end. Even if it feels like you won't, you will. You're going to come out even stronger. I really do believe that what is right for you will stay with you. You know, as cliche as it is, it's going to lead you to the path you're meant to be on. You know, oh, my chair is stuck. You can miss something and not want it back. That's part of the lesson. You've got to understand that that is not meant for you anymore, or it wasn't meant for you. Like you could be watching this and you feel like you're still not over, I just bit my tongue, that you're still not over a person, and it could have been ages and ages and ages ago. Everybody deals with relationships differently, and it's important to know, just because you're still missing them or you still love them, you don't have to want it back. Do you know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I've just said it again. Shut up. I need to actually get another word because I'm really... Oh, hello. We turned off again. I'm actually going to get a new camera after this. I get really into the conversation, then it just turns off. I think it's important to know that all relationships have issues, but toxic relationships have kind of unaddressed issues. You know, you're not talking about it, so things get bottled up and soon explode, or they just get pushed under the rug. And I feel like that's also what creates that kind of toxicness. Is that a word, toxicness? I think it is. Yeah. Communication is the biggest thing. It is so important. If you're thinking like the other person is the only issue, you know, they're not. It takes 2 people to tango, like, unless say they've cheated or there's been something huge happen. I really do think that both of you have to be willing to sort it. You know, it just can't be one-sided, because when it's one-sided, you know, again, it's just the lack of communication. It just doesn't work. I feel like this can apply to like family or friendships as well. It's not just relationships. If you're not discussing the real issue and you're both leaving it, you're both stubborn, you're both not willing, you know, relationships are just going to crumble. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. When you get out of a relationship, is it the right choice? Is it not? Should I have done that? Should I have done this? You can't blame yourself for anything. You're never going to know if it's the right choice. You're never going to know. So you just have to trust what's happened, and you have to trust the path that you're on, because otherwise you're going to drive yourself insane. What's done is done, and you just have to keep pushing on. A lot of people that I know, or a lot of people in general, may think, should I go back? They've changed their mind, or you've changed your mind, and then it's like that trust has been broken and tarnished. I just think you really have to trust what's already happened, whether it's a lesson, or even if you've made a mistake or they've made a mistake, it's happened for a reason. Just think about it like that. I also feel like it's hard to know or to see the big picture when you're actually in it. It's easy to give advice, but when you're actually in it, it's a lot harder, because, you know, the feelings are there, that you're attached to the situation. Need a drink. But the way I think about it is, if a relationship is taking from you more than it's giving, then you're in the wrong one. That's how I think of it anyway. I think you've got to be having more good days than bad days. You've got to, you know, you've got to feel like they're adding to your life rather than taking from it. And I think that's so important. So if you think that perhaps you're in a toxic relationship, or even a toxic friendship or whatever, you know that it's toxic if you're not gaining from it. You're only getting damaged from it. Do you know what I mean? Just stop, Isabel. Oh my god, it's annoying me. Never mind you. Like I say, your blinkers are on, but it's impossible to better yourself in a relationship if you're being held down. And if you've just got out of a relationship and you feel free, you know it's the right decision. That could be free in just, you feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders. If you're in toxic friendships, most of the time you're going to distance yourself from them. Like, it's impossible to grow when you've got people knocking you. And it's the same for a relationship. Like, you're not going to be able to grow and succeed if this person is holding you down. And they could be holding you down for so many reasons. It could just be that you two don't work and you can't grow together. Like they say, people grow apart. I'm out of breath. Like I said in another video, people's vibes are contagious, and if you feel you're not getting the right vibes from someone, or you can't better yourself because you're with this person, you know, if you feel like you can't succeed or brilliant, stay on, right, yeah, if you feel like you can't exceed, what am I on about, you can't succeed and excel in what you want to do, then, you know, if the relationship has ended, then good for you. It's not fair on yourself to stay in that. If you don't feel yourself with that person, or if you don't feel like you're growing, then bin. You can't spend your life just feeling held down by a person. People's vibes and their kind of personality and how they treat you is infectious. Like, people around you when you're in a toxic relationship can often tell because of how it's affecting you, and how it's rubbing off on you. So if you do not feel happy around certain people or in your relationship, then bin it off, cut it off, because honestly, it's just not worth it. You know, life's too short for that. If your significant other is hindering your growth, bin, because it's like you're both damaging yourself as a result. It's not just you, it's them as well, and it's just such a toxic atmosphere, honestly. Yeah, I don't want, obviously this video is not to tell everyone bin off their boyfriends, bin off their girlfriends, whatever, like, not at all. Like, I'm not a relationship expert, but I just know the mindset that I was in when I was in a toxic relationship, or when I just got out of a toxic relationship. I feel like this is kind of what I needed to hear. This is really cringy, but I thought of this in the shower. Right, think of it like you're running a relay race, right? You're gonna pick the people to be on your team that are gonna lift you up, that are gonna make you run faster, that are gonna motivate you. You're not gonna pick the people that are gonna slow you down, do you know what I mean? So do the same in life. Oh my god, I feel like Mother Teresa or something. But seriously, like, I just thought that was a good way to think about it. You feel like you've wasted time when you see the bigger picture, if that makes sense. But then you've got to remember it's all a lesson. Pardon me. I've had a lot of pineapple juice today. I'm literally burping all the time. What was I on about? I mean a lot, like, you know, are you watching their location? Are you having arguments about where they're going, what they're doing, who they're with, who's gonna be there? Have they liked this person's Instagram? But yeah, you know what I mean. Think to yourself, like, is that productive? No, it's really not. Is that holding you down? Yes, it really is. Like, it's just not what you want. You know, as soon as you start being like that, it just escalates, and you just don't want that in your relationship. And if you've come out of a relationship and you can relate to those things, then it's probably best that it has ended, because that can get so toxic. You know, it's like back and forth, like you're getting at each other for these minute things that don't even matter. Like, it really doesn't even matter. Yeah, do not be like that. Honestly, it's a complete time waster. You either trust that person or you don't, and that can often be a relationship breaker. What else? Yeah, I've spoken to friends before when they're going through a rough time, and I've been like, why are you letting them speak to you like that? Like, do you think that's okay? And they're like, oh, he does it all the time, you know, that's just what he's like. And it's like, no, that's not okay. You know they're treating you badly and you're continuing to let them because it's all you know. You know, you've kind of become immune to it and you're not seeing the bigger picture again. I'm not saying I'm perfect, like I've done these things too. It's just not what you want. You need to understand and have respect for yourself but also the other person. Yes, you might love each other, but sometimes love isn't enough. You've got to be able to discuss, you've got to be able to be honest, you've got to be open, you know, you've got to have more good days than bad days. It can't just be a sort of lust relationship. You've got to be able to work, otherwise it creates a toxic atmosphere which damages you so much. So, you know, I hope this is helping someone, I don't know. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you need to listen to signs. You know, you will know deep down in your heart, cringe, that, like, you know, if a relationship is bringing you happiness, you need to really think, is this bringing me happiness or is this toxic? It was just gonna go nowhere, or it's going nowhere. You know, you can't carry on with something like that. Say you might have unforgivable issues or like underlying issues that you haven't discussed, or you feel like you could never forgive them for. I feel like that's another big one as well. Like, don't just stay with somebody because they're manipulating you or they're making it seem like, oh, it will be fine, we can get through it. Like, if you really believe that you're not happy, you need to find the strength to do what's right. Also, it could be the other way around. Like, you could feel they're perhaps not willing to sort something out and you are, and it can get very kind of one-sided. It has to be two to tango, and in friendships as well, it has to be the two of you to make it work. When things are left unsaid, it just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. When you're not with that person, it can feel almost like you've got to be happy on your own as well as being with that person, because if you're just happy with that person, it is dangerous. You can't honestly, it puts yourself in a very vulnerable position. You are worth more than that. You can't, you know, you need to find inner strength within yourself to know that you deserve better. You don't want a relationship that's isolating you, and if you only feel happiness with them, that can become very isolated. If you're not complete on your own, then you're not going to be able to feel complete with somebody else, and you're not going to be able to complete each other. You should feel, I'm not saying I know how you should feel and all of that, but I feel like you should feel content but free, and by free I mean happiness on your own, you know, love within yourself. They shouldn't be stealing from you, they should be adding to you. So they should be adding to your happiness that you already have, and then when you come together it's even better. Do you know what I mean? Oh my god, I've said it again. I actually give up. Life really is too short to be umming and ahhing. You've got to trust that you're making the right decision, and you just got to go with your gut. Could be heartbroken, but you've still got to trust that you're on the right path, because you have got to build yourself up after a relationship. You can't fall into a downhill spiral. You might be thinking, oh, I didn't make the decision, you know, the decision was made for me, you know, my partner broke up with me. And again, the decision's been made so that you can move forward with your life. It might feel awful right now, but it will soon become clear why all of this happened, or kind of why that happened. Somebody asked on my poll, how do you get into a solid relationship? And there was another one about relationships, and my only advice to you is to trust timing. Honestly, everything will happen when it's right for you, and also when you're ready. If you go out looking for something and you feel like you're looking for something to complete you, like, no, you need to complete yourself in order for that to come to you. I promise you, you've just got to trust timing. I hope this video has been some sort of help to anyone, I don't know. But I really, really hope this has helped, whether you're going through a breakup, in a toxic relationship, think you might be in a toxic relationship, toxic friendship, maybe a family situation. Please subscribe. I'm at 6k now, so thank you so much for 6k because I am so grateful. Yeah. Thank you so much for the love on the last video as well. It honestly means so much. To get messages knowing that I've helped someone in some sort of way is just literally, I love it so much. It makes me so happy. I'll see you in my next video. It's an exciting one, so please subscribe and like and watch out for it. But yeah, see you later. See you later. What am I on about? I'll see you in my next vid. Bye. I'm so awkward.